Another iconic scene that you and Bryan created together, it's perhaps the one that will be quoted for time immemorial, is just the, I am the one who knocks scene. I'm sure you'll be asked about this in every public setting you go to this week, but could you guys talk a little bit about the creation of that scene?
Well, again, I'll defer to Vince because we are the mouthpieces of this man's sick and demented mind. But as far as what I gleaned from it is that Walter White was on a transformation, and he going through this metamorphosis of a character. And at that particular point, he was becoming more emotional and more impulsive. And along with that, his ego was increasing and his hubris, and he was not liking. In fact, earlier I think it's the same episode where we're at dinner at the Schraders, and Walt says, Hank Schrader thinks he's got Heisenberg, and it's like, it's interesting because if he keeps his mouth shut, that's great, that's better for business, but there's something that's driving him nuts that he's going to give credit to this other guy, to Gail Bedecker, and Walt can't take that. So his ego becomes part of his Achilles heel, and that's what this is. It's a final downfall here that he has to lay it on the line and tell her just how powerful a man I am. You don't realize that, And so it was a huge thing, and the first read through, I'm going, oh my God, because you read it objectively, and I'm reading it and going, oh my God, he's really, how do I do this? Because it's kind of an assault to a sensible person. And then you realize, okay, I got to get into where he is on this trajectory now and see that it actually does make sense of where he's going. And
I feel like the scene is still living inside of you somewhere. You're still...
You keep poking my buttons, it'll come out.
But what was interesting was watching the pilot reading that we watched the other night. I saw the same things, those seeds that you planted in the pilot with the characters. The seeds that you planted between Skylar and Walt as a couple, that actually leads directly, I think, to that scene in a really interesting way. And when I got the chance to sit back and look at that from an objective point of view, I saw just the nature of their relationship in the pilot. She's trying to control things because that's what she knows to do as a human being. She tries to control inner chaos. She tries to control things because it gives her a sense of order and it makes her feel better as a human being. That's how she orders her life. She's not an emotional person, she's a tightly held person, and making things ordered and controlled makes her feel better. So when she offers up this thing to him, she thinks she's come up with the solution finally. Look, this makes sense, let's do this. And he turns, and he's finally saying, you don't control me. I'm not controlled by anybody, especially you. You don't understand who you're dealing with. And I think that I can follow that line directly from the pilot all the way to that scene. And I saw that like a flash the other night.
Nice.
And it was really, really interesting to see that.
And the interesting irony, of course, and a wonderful script written by a writer named Jenny Hutchison, who used to be my assistant on the X-Files, and now is a professional writer and directed by our director of photography, Michael Slovan. Did a great job. The other fun thing for me in that scene, the way you guys played it, the way it was written and directed, is that at the moment where you give what is arguably, and you never know this stuff in advance, you only kind of come upon it in hindsight, but in that moment you give one of those archetypal lines of the series, I am the danger, I am the one who knocks. You're character-wise, you're at one of your lowest ebbs, power-wise, because Gustavo Fring has just got you over a barrel at that point, which is what I love about the way that scene was constructed.
Yeah,
and then the way you play it, you're like, yeah, I believe this guy. He's a badass. but in the context of the moment,
it had to come out of that sense of insecurity
Yeah.
that he had at that moment.
Yeah.
to try to get something back.
Yeah. Get it back from your wife, if not from the guy
Yeah.
who threatens your life, who holds it in his hand. Yeah.